Lucas is scared of the dark.
What a stage setup, eh? Heh heh. Oh, phew. There you go. Thank goodness. Sorry about that. Please continue. Alrighty. Well, it was nearing the end of my shift, and I found nothing was amiss. There were only 4 cars parked that night. What if it's the cat? 2 spaced across the street, and 2 on the opposite corner, side by side. My plan was to leave after I walk one last round, to make sure everything was okay. And a reminder, you can cover the whole place in only 8 minutes. Okay? Then, at the end of my walk, took a drag on my cigarette. Smug as I was about to clock out, thinking 'twas another night job well done. Right? Wrong. I was immediately faced with the impossible. 3 cars, 2 side by side, 1 across the street. All tires flattened. That's 12 vandalized tires for you, in a span of less than 10 minutes.
That is so strange. It would take several minutes to flatten just 1 tire. And that's if you're using the right tools.
Would it actually, though? Just get a knife, bro, and it'll be done. Right? But that wasn't all. Oh, no, it wasn't. Because that was the moment when the streetlights went out. Suddenly and all at once.
What?
Right after that, I heard flurries of footsteps and laughter. They were going farther and farther away from the scene, and yet I saw nothing at all.
Oh,
are you sure? Did the CCTV catch anything? The infrareds actually managed to catch something, but the videos weren't clear at all, so I'm still investigating it.
Jeez Louise, Pops. That's way spookier than what you told me in the car. But it's cool, though.
Heh. I may be laughing now, but I almost pissed my pants there, you see. Well, whoever they were, they sure worked fast. Right? Anyway, Karaptic, I think I want another drink. All that talking is making my throat dry, and coffee just ain't cutting it. Roger that, what would you like? What do you suggest? How about some tea with ginger and honey? Sounds good. Can you use the red flower stuff you have as a base? You mean hibiscus? Definitely. Okay, then I'd like red flower tea with ginger and a touch of honey. Bet. Let me just make sure that it's in the right order. Hibiscus with ginger and honey. This. Okay, it's right. Here you go. Is this in case I missed the lighter the first time? Do I have the lighter again? I mean, I'm not gonna take that, but... Look, someone's apartment key, maybe? It's a key card, it's Gallows. I know it's Gallows. I have to give it to him. 1 piping hot te jaha rosella for you. Oh, what does it mean? Jaha means ginger, te means tea, and rosella... This is rosella, another name for hibiscus. I see, a legit herbal drink. Spicy, but perfect for the weather. Good call, Cryoptic. I'm happy to please.
If that's the case, let me join on your patrol, Pops. Because I'm not scared of ghosts. Real beings scare me more.
Why does he look like that? Wait a sec, kid. What do you mean by ghosts, eh? Jumping the gun a little there, ain't ya?
Heh. I don't know, Pops. Maybe it's even something scarier than that.
This is a really serious problem, kid. Don't joke around like that.
Sorry.
Interesting. You know something?
No, not me.
But she might.
Right. The tree, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. What about it, miss? It's your turn to finish your thought.
Not sure if I can be any use at all, but... The tree was haunted. Officer, were you aware of the story behind that tree?
Huh? I recall what you said earlier. People often leave remembrances around it. What do you mean by that, miss?
Well, it's because someone passed away there. What? Allow me to explain. I mentioned there was once a flea market on the street, correct?
Right?
They called it the Fairy Market. It was unofficially set up by the transients of the community. Transients being the government's term for unregistered citizens, including all the other uncategorized beings at the time. Fairies were a part of that.
Huh? I remember learning about that. After the war, the government made its first official attempt to sort things out. Organizing equitable classifications was thought as one of the first steps towards civil peace. But it was oversimplified, inefficient, and not speedy enough.
Was all that before the Vindication Act?
Way before that. Many who couldn't register were basically in administrative limbo.
What? That's as good as, not existing at all.
Really, that's horrible.
It was the main reason why the Fairy Market was created in the first place. To ensure transients' survival throughout the changing times, in more ways than one. The market had no real schedule, therefore, the start of Fairy Week would be marked by flowers strewn along the intersection, just so people would notice and come and take a look.
That sounds kinda too low-key, no? Because it was illegal, silly.
Oh. And that was exactly the problem. The market ran day and night, its format unchanging. At the same time, the economy was slowly reshaping the landscape. People started to spend more, becoming reckless, while the laws were still shaky at best. Then a tragic incident occurred one night. A drunk driver was speeding and went off course, striking a vendor there. And the only evidence left of the crime was that tree, standing where there was no tree before.
Wait a second. What? Why did I never hear about this? How long ago was it?
The accident occurred in 1959, but the market itself was forcibly disbanded in 1961.
Happened before I was born, huh? How does Riona know? How long do banshees live? Yeah, I remember everything. Oh. It was actually quite an infamous case, wasn't it? But due to the nature of the beings involved, most people couldn't help but, well, forget. Huh? We're talking about the late 50s to early 60s here. Post-war media was still quite scarce. And I remember the drunk driver was also the son of a very wealthy individual.
Oh, correct. But that wasn't exactly the part that made the case so infamous. It was due to the fact that no body was ever found at the crash site, as well as the vendor being a transient with no legal ID or paper trail. As a result, the court had no choice but to dismiss the case.
But there was a body, wasn't it? Just not the one people might expect.
You mean the tree? Right. When semi-spiritual beings like us pass on from the physical world, some may leave specific landmarks behind. Not all can do that, though. Us banshees don't do that.
You don't?
No, we simply disappear.
So if I'm getting this right, the tree couldn't be used as evidence because it wasn't classified as remains yet. The witnesses were in the same boat, no paper trail. The driver's lawyer took advantage of those loopholes. And that's messed up.
Beyond messed up, Pops. Whoa, I'm boiling.
I'll take a further look into this more, miss. But I have a question for you.
Yes?
You think the vandalism has anything to do with the tree removal?
Look at George's face, bro. I don't know. I suppose it might depend on when the acts of vandalism began.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I better get going then. It's almost time for my shift.
Okay, officer. Break a leg, Pops.
I'd rather not.
Stay safe.
Will do. I'll keep y'all posted.
Bye, Georgie. I love you.
I better go as well. Got an early shift tomorrow. There's one thing I want to confirm, though, if you don't mind, miss.
Yes?
It's about the fairies passing and how everyone ends up forgetting about them afterwards. I really thought that was just a myth. I guess not.
Unfortunately. That is why there used to be a memorabilia around that tree. There were efforts by those who remained to preserve the memory.
But it wasn't enough, was it? Else we'd still have the tree. Really makes me question my memory. Are there any people I might have forgotten? Were there events I missed? It is quite scary to think about.
For beings like us, being forgotten is inevitable. So no need to feel bad about it.
Forgotten or forgetful? Is that so? Oh, I didn't catch your name, by the way. I'm Gala.
Oh, I'm Lucas. Nice to meet you, sir.
Well then, nice meeting you. Good luck with your future auditions, Miss Riona.
Thank you.
See you around.
Bye, Cryoptic.
Take care. Should have given you your lanyard today and I didn't. Oopsies.
You okay? It's getting real late. I still want to talk, but if you're tired, let me know. Have you eaten? You want something to eat?
We don't sell food here.
You don't? No wonder your place is always empty.
Well,
just kidding, Cryoptic. Don't hate me, please. Well, do you want another drink, maybe?
I wouldn't mind one.
Nice. What do you feel like having?
Something without milk. A refreshing feeling and some brightness to it. Also quite partial to the blue pea tea.
Oh. Okay, I'll order something for you. May I?
Sure.
Cryoptic, could you try this mix? Saw this pretty drink in a video, and it looked perfect for Our Lady.
Yep, what is it?
Blue pea as a base, a lot of mint, and a splash of lemon.
Okay. I'm just gonna trust your word and not even look it up. There is one drink that I can't make yet. Yeah, the Galaxy Mint Tea. That's cool. Yeah, we'll try this one. There's one tea I can't make yet. Or drink I can't make yet. Because I have to wait until like my final day with Riona or something. And then I can make it. I think if the time comes, I'll be able to remember it. But I have to look up the ingredients to it because I'll forget. Or I have forgotten. Man sitting right beside you.
Haha. Looks nice. Very pretty.
You like it?
I like it. Thank you.
I'm glad you do. Wow, Cryoptic. Looks exactly like what I envisioned. You're a G.
Thanks, man. Like being a G. Closer with Georgie? Born and raised in Seattle, still lactose intolerant cop. You're lactose intolerant? Did I know that? I'm happy you both enjoyed it. That would have been nice to know. Maybe I could have... I won't mess up any drinks now. I know that you don't like milk.
But man, that whole case earlier, though. It's a lot to take in. Also, about the whole forgetting thing. That really gave me chills.
Why?
Ugh. Don't you feel scared? Of just disappearing in the end? Because I do. That's why I thought I finally understood you, too. I mean, the reason why you wanted to become a soprano your way. The traditional way.
Oh? Care to compare notes? Because I've yet to be entirely certain about that myself.
Oh, ha! Now that's what you call huge pressure. Before that, though, can I ask a little teeny-weeny question?
Go ahead.
What inspired you to go down this path? I mean, I have an idea on why you're choosing the hard way, but why a soprano in the first place?
I actually don't agree with you choosing the hard way. I know people like this too that don't want to like be involved with any sort of internet or social media and stuff like that. But like, if you want to do something that's creative, you have to be online. I feel like, well, not have to be. I guess you could do it the traditional way, but like, it's leaps and bounds. It makes it so much easier, especially if you're like in a big city like this one. It would make it so much easier to do that. Unless you're like in a small town, and like I'm in a small town, and I feel like I've touched just about every aspect of creativity that we have in this town. In the sense that like what I'm good at, I've done in this town. You know what? I'm just running on, and none of this is gonna make sense anyway. But like the internet is very important for creators is what I'm trying to say, and like putting yourself out there and having people watch you, and like even having something as simple as a demo reel, like she said she had an audition tape or whatever online and then took it down. Like you got to leave that up. Like people have to see you, and you know, sharing and all that stuff just makes it easier.
Because there was already a banshee who did it before. So I know it's not impossible. Whoa, for real? Her part was that of a sober aria, and she was not very well known.
What is a sorbet area?
Oh, I mean, she was a secondary character. Back in early 19th century operas, sorbet arias, I'm not saying that right, would be sung towards the end of the second act, usually before the evening ended. Hawkers would use the time to offer their wares for the last time to the patrons, often desserts, hence sorbet area.
Oh, I see. Like background singing at the end of a show or something?
Yes. Things are different nowadays because people are expected to listen to the end. The first time I heard her voice was on an old recording of a comedy opera. I was still very young back then. She was playing a confused maid role at the very end of the opera, wondering why and how people could act so crazy when in love. But despite her confusion, she thought she wasn't so old that she couldn't find the reason herself. It was a very funny epilogue to the opera.
I don't know where these like extra words come out from, but they appear.
But hearing a banshee sing such a playful and light-hearted piece, it was truly an eye-opener for me.
Oh man, I bet it was.
Sadly, I couldn't find any of her other works, but I'd always stuck with me nonetheless. So I left my commune and started trying on my own.
It's really cool and brave of you to do so. I agree.
I've never talked about this before. It's a bit embarrassing.
Nah, don't be embarrassed. I think it's super cool. You're just feeling inspired to push yourself beyond what's expected of you, and wishing to leave a mark on this world.
Is that what you think?
Uh-huh. You're just trying to follow a path that has been traveled before. That's not always a bad thing, especially for beings like us. You're just being careful, yet courageous. Right, because the path you're choosing to walk is still difficult. Regarding leaving your mark, I don't know. I just feel maybe you're the same as me. I'm just having a little bit of an audio scare right now. Just want to make sure. Monitor and output. Okay. I don't know why. I was like, can they hear the game? You can. Like, what's the point of being born if nobody's going to remember us? Right, Cryoptic? I don't really feel like that's a good way to look at things.
Why do you want to be remembered so much?
Why wouldn't you?
Us banshees see the end differently than most.
Let me put it to you this way, alright? You're not going to be remembered unless you make history books. Like, influencing and stuff is not a good way to get remembered. Like, you remember stuff personally, but like, think about people like Hibiscus. He was like the first YouTuber I ever watched, and then obviously he got into all that controversy, which is why he got pushed out so quickly. But the fact of the matter is still, like, some people will never know who he is. Like, yeah, you can post your stuff online and it'll stay there forever. There's no doubting that. But also, like, are you relevant enough to stay forever?
Care to enlighten me?
I can't speak for anyone else, but in my case, I was a kid who grew up in a large family, you see. Like, humongously large. Literally couldn't count all my siblings, even if I wanted to. Because they're everywhere, thanks to my dad. He got busy! We weren't wealthy, though. Not even close. The money situation was always suffocating us for real. Sometimes Dad would drop by to give us some money. Though it wasn't even enough to cover utilities for more than a couple months. Then he'd just leave again a couple days later.
Are you the eldest?
Nope. But my older bros had already moved out by the time I hit high school. You seem like the younger child sort of vibe. I was so surprised when my dad gave me the house after he died. Which is where my mom and siblings live now.
Sorry to hear about your father.
No, it's fine. I mean, yeah, it was weird to receive the news of his death from an attorney, knowing he passed away by himself, and how it took them a week to find out. Oh. Natural causes, by the way, so... I mean, how did he check out with absolutely no one knowing? Where were my other siblings? What happened to his ladies? It was just so crazy to me. And I guess it just kind of haunted me. Haunted how? My life growing up was filled with disappointment over him, you know? I mean it in the best way possible. My disappointment actually drove me to work hard for my family.
I just vilified him in my mind, like shaking my mental fist at him. Gonna do so much better than you, sir, and all that.
I see.
But then I received the news that he'd left me the house. Like, I know he had no money. The house is probably one of the only assets he had left. So when he gave me the house in his will, all I could think about was what went through his mind exactly. I gotta take a sip of water.
Dying out here. The fact that he had a will at all was probably already a surprise for you.
Exactly. She gets me. What am I supposed to think of that? What am I supposed to think of him? And does it even matter anymore? When he's already long gone? Anyway, so my older brothers came back, right? They wanted me to sell the house and divide the earnings.
Wanting a slice of the inheritance pie, huh? You didn't do that, right?
Heck no. That's why I left for LA. So if they really want me to sell the house, they have to chase after me.
Good call.
Good call. Thankfully, my younger siblings and I are pretty tight. We're a good team.
That's a relief. So you're middle child.
But that was only why I needed money fast. I needed to send money to help with my family's bills, and of course so I could stay alive as well. That was why I ended up having to join the production house.
The production house?
Yeah, it was like a bunch of content creators getting together to make videos every day. I was young and naive too, you know. It was my first time venturing to another state completely alone after all. So I didn't know better, how predatory things could be. Man, this isn't even gonna be an entertaining story.
If you're uncomfortable, you don't have to talk about it.
No, it's not that. I just really didn't like that production house. But I needed the money. Someone there saw my vlogs and invited me in. As one of the youngest there, I tried to get along with everybody. But you see, we were all creators in the entertainment industry, right? Which means we all had huge egos. So naturally there was somewhat of a hierarchy of sorts. Trying to be all around helpful turned me into the butt of the joke all the time. That didn't discourage me at all. That much, by the way. I mean, I also learned a lot there, not gonna lie. Still. But what ended up destroying my willpower was actually something really close, you know? Myself.
What do you mean by that?
Well, in a house where everyone wants to be the main character, each of us would need a solid, distinct persona, you know? Eventually, I was assigned one too, which was supposed to be a good thing, but they wanted me to be the worst version of what I am, essentially, with heavy emphasis on what. I had a lot of nicknames too, like, "Hey, you baby goat. What are you up to now, satire boy? Come here, the party goatie. Mr. Excess. You gonna go fishing again tonight or what?"
Fishing?
Ugh. We had to go out and try to hit on people. And we weren't allowed to come home unless we failed spectacularly or scored. Oh. I always tried to be the punchline though. Because there were always more views when something ended badly. But it was still the worst because I really had to act it all out, you know? Bothering people for pretend dates. Be sort of a dumb jerk just for jokes. Just so all looked fun for the camera. Even if scripted, I never really liked doing it, honestly. Because in the end, all of it just reminded myself of my dad, you know? And I kept thinking, does the apple never fall far from the tree, after all? Damn. So yeah, the whole thing just really sucked.
You had it difficult.
Yeah. Well, long story short, being tokenized sucked. The end. No disagreement there. Sorry, I swear that wasn't what I intended to talk to you about.
It's fine. I actually learned a lot this evening.
I just don't want to take up more of your time. So, can I ask you a direct question?
Sure.
Great. Would you be interested in guest starring on my new show?
Huh?
I realized I was being dumb the day we first met. Kind of forced my thoughts on you and was just being a general smartass. I undermined your straightforward efforts because I was jealous of your solid resolve. Since everything I did was anything but.
But you succeeded eventually, didn't you? And you worked hard for it.
Yet I almost ended up losing sight of what I'd been doing all this time in the first place. I went with the flow, made excuses a lot. All to justify the gain, but to what end? That's why I've been trying to put together a talent showcase for those who need extra exposure. It's going to be a small production thing. It'll be paid, I swear. Not with exposure either. Though it won't be much at first, because I don't have that much money ready to use at the moment, so... wait. This is a bit sudden, don't you think? No pressure, though. How does the show work? Well, I'm not 100% sure of the shape of it yet, but ideally, it will have, like, an interview at first, and then I'll record your singing. I'll bring all the gear. We'll also be doing all the editing and stuff. It's gonna take a bit of time, since I still have my main show to do. But I did start my vlogging journey on my own, too. So I can bet the result will still be quality. Your show will tank if I'm the first guest, do you realize that? If it does, then it doesn't deserve to exist. I don't care about haters, but you do. That's why I won't push you.
Say something.
I'm flattered, but no thank you.
No! Okay.
Thanks for considering me, though.
Thanks for giving it a thought. Gotta go, bye. Sigh. Looks like I have to go.
Okay.
It's nothing to do with what you said, okay? Just bad timing.
Yes, I get it.
Cool. I hope we can meet again like this. If you want to.
Maybe.
Are you two hitting it off? I'll take it. Thanks for your time too, Cryoptic. Sorry if I bored you.
No, truly, it was my pleasure.
Cool. Okay, I really have to go. See you around?
Safe trip.
Right, see you, Cryoptic.
Come again soon.
Oh my gosh, his voice is like fresh in my throat.
Hariona.
Hehe.
What?
I think tonight was the most I have talked in the past 2 years.
I'm quite glad to hear that.
Thank you, Cryoptic,
For what?
for being such a good host. I know I'm not the easiest being to get along with.
It's always a pleasure to have you and everyone around.
Then I'll be taking my leave. I feel like I have a lot to rethink, but I'll see you again soon.
And we'll be waiting, always. Safe trip, Miss Riona. And have a good night. Getting a phone call, and I'm not gonna answer it. Phew. I think I'm done for the night. Hope everything will work out for everyone. Hooray. He's leaving a voicemail. God, I hate this guy. Coffee talk. What day are we on? We've done so many days. So I looked it up just to like see kind of how many episodes this would probably be, and honestly, it was like this game was supposed to be shorter than the first game, but I feel like it's gonna end up being longer because we're only like halfway through the days or something like that. I don't know. I'm gonna check it in between episodes, but I feel like that's kind of where we're at. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you're enjoying the series so far and you're excited to see more, leave a comment down below. I absolutely love this game. As I've said, I love the first one. I like this one just as much. Make sure you hit the like button and the subscribe button so you know when the next video comes out, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!